Good morning, everyone. And I will have to say that I'm not really an expert in Google Form. I just share with you what I use it for, and I find it very very easy to connect with Google Classroom and put my content inside the Google Form. So I will start with okay. Have everyone used this Google Form before? Or shall I introduce to you some of the components or things you can use inside Google Form? All right, then in that case, I will share with you first. All right, what you can see here is part of my Google Classroom, and I will show you one of the form that I have already made, and I will use that as an example so that you can use some of the functions there. All right. For example, if you have a new form, you always have on the top column, left-hand column here, the title of your form. All right. Normally, if you can't, sometimes when you type down here, you will automatically change above. But if it doesn't change, then you have to do it yourself. All right. So you just type the topic that you want to present it to the students. And at the bottom here is the description part. All right. You describe what are the things that you intend, you want the students to learn. Okay. To, how you say, what are they going to use this form for? So if you look at the form here, the finished form, so this is the complete form, the preview form that the students will see. So the description here is where you ask the student what to do. So for this form, I wanted them to do some virtual lab with this form. Okay, so the virtual lab we have included a few videos. So altogether, there are 11 sections in this form. And these 11 sections, I also explained to them when is the due date for different groups. All right. So then in the form, I need to collect their email address. This email address, you don't need to put in the form, but you can put later. I will show you how, okay? But you need them to key in their student ID. So, and then which group they are in, A, B, C, D, E, F, all right? And then they can go to the next section. All right, so this is a required item. And without that, they cannot move on to the next section. So I just put an example here. Okay, so in the next section, I have introduction. So if you make it into sections, it will be easier for the student to understand what you want them to do. One section at a time, okay? So the first part is to download the practical manual, which they already have. And this is a video that I have embedded here. And I will show you how to embed the video, all right? So we go back to the original form and look at some of the functions inside the Google form. So what you can see here is one of the questionnaire survey that I've done. And you have different sections, okay? Section 1, and then you have section 2. Section 2 will be respondent background. And if you click on here, you will see what are the choices you can do. Multiple question A, or your checker box, or other things. I think the WebEx and this Google form is slowing the speed. So I will go back. Yeah, okay. So you will have multiple choice. That means your answers can be in short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, checker box, drop down, file upload, linear scale, multiple choice, checker box, grid, date and time. So you can have a variety of answers from your respondents. Short answers will be for them to write up something. Paragraph will be longer than short answer, all right? Multiple choice is like what I have here. They can only choose one time, one of the choices. And checker box, you can choose a few, all right? They can be, let's say, maybe they like, maybe they don't like, or you like to eat fish, chicken, or meat, all right? So they can choose a few at a time. And then drop down box, I think you know, it save a lot of space because you only have the drop down list. But for people who have slow internet connection, it will be a problem because they have to wait for the drop down list. Then file load is like for us in chemistry, we have a lot of images. So it will be good to have them upload the images or the in a file in the Google form, all right? Then linear scale will be something like the questionnaire. You say highly recommended, and then you have 5 marks there, and you go down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you just have to put the first one and the last one. Highly recommended and not recommended at all, and it will come out as a linear scale, all right? So you don't need to write 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or 10, 9, 8, 7. So you have to put 10 and 1, you will automatically come out. And multiple choice grid. Multiple choice grid is you have like group A, B, C, D, E, and then each group you have subgroup. And each subgroup, you inside the group, you have group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. So meaning to say in group A, you have 30 students, and within the 30 students, you're going to break them up again to 5 student a group or 6 student a group. So if it's 6 student a group, then you will have A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, all right? 5 groups with each group having 10 students. So by doing that, they can choose the multiple choice grid to select which group they are in, all right? And then checker box is when you also have the same as the multiple choice grid, just that in multiple choice grid, they can select a few choices at once, all right? Let's say they want to, A1 group want to evaluate A2, A3, A4, A5, so they can choose if they think that it's too troublesome to evaluate each group by themselves. So they can choose all together A2, A3, A4, A5 and evaluate them in a group, all right? But some of them, they prefer to evaluate them in different time. So they can do A1 will choose A2 first, all right, to evaluate. Then later on, they will select one by one and they will submit one by one. So no problem because all these responses will be recorded in Google Sheet, all right? So that's the difference between multiple choice grid and checker box. And then for date and time, I think you know very well. If you want them to select what day is today and what time is are you doing this, so you can have this included. And when they come out in the preview, what you see is whether they will write down the date and the time, especially for attendance. All right. So these are the multiple choices of answers they can put inside your form. But more importantly is for us is how to utilize these features already inside Google Form so that we can use it seamlessly with our Google Classroom. So far, Google Classroom is the easiest way for our students to access, and so are the lecturers. So Google Form and Google Classroom, Jamboard, all these are under the Google Suite. So it's not a problem for all of us to utilize this, all right? So it all depends on what you want, what are the information you want to get from the students. So like this question A, I wanted to know, have you learned the following subjects in pre-U? So they were yes or no, all right, very simple. So for chemistry, it's very easy. Terminologies means a lot to the student. If they can understand the terminology, then that means they can understand the topic well. So we just have to put in Entomo RS, or you can write in long sentence, all right? No problem. And then this is like what I say, the answer is in multiple choice grid. So I just put yes and no, okay? And you can see it comes out very nicely in the form for you. So you don't need a lot of practice. You just have to key in what you want to ask the students and what are the information you want to collect. All right. And this one is interesting features where you can set condition. All right. Let's say you have enantiomer RS. All right. If the student answer yes, then you want them to go to section A. If the students say no, you want them to go to section B. Yeah, you can use this part, all right, to guide them to go to which section, okay, after they have completed one of the questions. And this one, you can only do it inside multiple choice question or multiple choice grid, either one. The rest, you cannot have criteria that you can set, all right? So it is a convenient way, okay, like preparation time, how long they take to prepare, all right? So here you won't see it, but yeah, you are able to set conditions.
Doktor, saya tak dengar suara doktor.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, so I will go back to the stereo structure. All right, this is the virtual lab. And in every section, I have embedded different molecule structure into the form. The idea is to show them certain concepts in the molecule itself, like what is an enantiomer, what is a diastomer, whether it's identical or whether it's a mirror image of one another, and how do you configure, assign the R or S configuration to a molecule. All right. So we have taken the video of each and every different molecule structure, and we show them in the YouTube. All right. I uploaded the video. All right. On the right hand side here, you can see you can upload. All right. You have new question and you can upload the form. All right. New question and you can upload the picture using this or this one picture here. So if you upload using the picture, there are a few different images that you can upload. Either you can upload from your Google Drive, or you can upload from your YouTube, or you can upload from anything you search from the internet. But for this instance, we have decided to upload it from YouTube. All right. From this YouTube. I will tell you the advantages why YouTube is preferable to the video that you put in your Google Drive. All right. So over here, you can see I have uploaded the link to the video, and I also have uploaded the video itself. All right. The problem with some of the students is when they look into the form, and if you are looking using a smartphone, then the video becomes very small and they cannot see clearly the picture. All right. And if they click onto this link, you will open a new tab where the picture is bigger and it is much, much clearer for them to see. All right. So you can upload this inside YouTube and then you attach or embed it inside your Google form. Okay. And what is the advantage of using YouTube, embed a YouTube video inside your Google form is you will be able to utilize YouTube's analytics. And I find this very, very important and very easy to understand. Okay. For example, inside my form just now, I have altogether 21 videos, and the duration of each video is only a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds or 50 seconds. All right. So you can see here, although I have 12 video, the total duration is only 6 minutes. The longest will be the introduction video, which takes about 9 minutes. All right. So what can you get from the real-time monitoring? Inside Google Form response, at the response just now, you will see one section that mentioned frequently missed questions. Because you have put this form as a quiz, all right, so it will auto-correct the answers for you. So the correct responses, out of 267 responses, only 31 got it correct. So that's why they put it under frequently missed questions. So when you see this in your Google form, you can understand that the student don't get what you want to say. So you can, while the quiz is running or the assessment is running, you can actually look at the question. You can see how many responded no and how many responded yes. So only 31 students got it correct and the rest got it wrong. All right. So what do you do next? You can actually go back into YouTube video and under hints, all right, or under comments, you can tell them, you can give them some hints how to get it correct. Okay. So you can put there clockwise is R, anti-clockwise is S. All right. So that they can understand by looking at the video, all right, why they get it wrong. I'm not telling them directly the answer, but the hint is here. All right. So if I ask the question, I ask the students, how useful is this hint? And most of the students, 99% say it is very useful. Only 1% say it's not useful, as usual. So another good thing about Google Form, Google Classroom, and Google and YouTube is, besides telling them the problem or the hint inside the video itself, inside the YouTube video itself, you can also let them know inside the Google Classroom comments. All right. So you can let them know, all right, today so many people, and how many people got full score. I think it's really challenging for the students when they see their friends getting full marks and they didn't get full marks. That stimulated them. They want to do better. All right. For my assessment, usually I don't have I don't specify that they can only do once. Okay. They can do multiple times, but I won't tell them the answer. All right. They have to find out the answer themselves. So by putting hints in the YouTube video and in the classroom, Google Classroom comment, you can see the median increase from 8.7 over 10 to 9.1 over 10. Okay. Altogether, there are actually 55 questions in the Google Form assessment. So in order to increase this grade, the point have to increase from 48 points to 50 points. It's a lot because there are about 115 students for these 4 groups of students. All right. So this is one way you still can teach them while they are doing assessment. The idea for me is not to penalize them, but to ensure that the students manage to get to learn certain topics or certain terminology and apply it on the question. All right. Then from YouTube analytics, all right, you can get certain information. Capturing student performance is like what I did just now. You can look at the response and you can look at the frequently missed questions. And then you also can study the student behavior. I will talk more on this. And you can use it for planning and scheduling because we don't know at the moment, or I don't know how, when you do your SLT, you put there 6 hours of preparation time. Is that enough? Or do you have any place to refer to? I think it's best that you collect back your own students' data. All right. For pharmacy students, most of them are, I think, cream of the crop, and they are good. All right. So if they are good, then how long do they spend on the time? Will it be the same with other students? I don't know. All right. Is there any way we can refer to? Well, since we are here teaching for so long, why not capture this data and look at it? And then we can adapt the system according to the average results that we get from this group of students, or from many groups of students. Every year we have new group of students. So from this YouTube analytics, all right, what I show here, the blue line here, is the view, how many view combined video, all right, of all the video. So not all the video, sorry, for introduction. Okay, so I have enrollment of 115. I have 115 students, but my total view is 5,690, meaning to say they view more than one time. All right, and when do they view it most? All right, so from the day the assessment was announced, you can see there's a spike in the number of viewers. And after the briefing, it will spike higher. And before the deadline, all right, most of them submit 2 days before the deadline. This is quite obvious, all right? There's a decrease already. And they requested for a Q&A session in the middle of the assessment because they wanted to understand more about the topic. So there is a small slight spike again, okay? And during the weekends, it declined. So this is our students. They also don't work during weekends and during holidays, which is, well, different group of students have different behavior, I would say. All right? Like us. I'm not very sure whether you'll be like us or not, because everybody, I think, is different. All right? There are still some who come in and see. So happen, this class fall on 25th of December, Christmas, which is a holiday. All right? Then 1st of January, another holiday. My God, there are 2 holidays in between here. And the briefing, we released the notice for them to do the assessment earlier. So the briefing was on the 29th. And right after the briefing, you can see number of students who view it, or they submitted the evaluation response on the next day. All right. When you check back at the Google Sheet, you will realize that most of them were just looking at the questions and looking at the video. They can submit again later here, all right? Then you can see during the weekend towards the holidays, all right? Number of students who submitted the response went low, all right? Then on Sunday itself, it spiked up again. So they do a lot of work. They also know how to take a rest, which is good. This is our pharmacy students, all right? Work and life balance. Okay, so Sunday there's a spike in number of responses, and it continued to when Tuesday. All right, the spike continued on Tuesday, where they submitted their responses. All right, then they requested for a Q&A session on the 5th of January because I think they were curious on the answers. All right, whether they got it right or wrong, because there are 55 questions. Imagine, you will be rather curious. So they will bring up, during this Q&A session, they brought up questions that they are not clear. And I think it was a very meaningful Q&A session because we managed to clear most of their doubts. All right. So, and I was also curious from Monday to Tuesday, they are supposed to have classes according to the time schedule. All right. They should have classes from 8 to 5 for pharmacy students. And surprisingly, they were also submitting responses from between that time, weekday 8 to 5. So looking at that, I think it gives us an idea that besides multitasking, that they are taking their time to study according to their timetable, not really according to our timetable that the university set. All right. So this flexibility, I think maybe it will take a while for them to get used to. Okay, why I say this? Because last semester, when we have this virtual lab, when we started the virtual lab last semester, which is last year, none of the students like it. All right, when you do a questionnaire survey, it was only about 0.1%. That means 1 out of 175 students like the idea of a virtual lab. But this year, when we do this virtual lab, 28% of students like the virtual lab. So there is a tremendous response rate towards virtual lab. Maybe by now they have get used to this online learning. And I will foresee if we were to continue on, I think if we change the style that we bring forward the questions and adjust, not the traditional way, but adjust the way on how you bring about the content and how they can study at their own time. I think the response will get higher and higher, accepting online lessons. All right. I don't know. This is only what I think from their responses and from the questionnaire that we send out to them. Okay. So if you look at YouTube analytics, all right, you will see that on top here, there are many different lines. And these different lines shows different video, the audience, the number of audience or the number of viewer. All right. I take an example here, the lavender, the purple color line. All right. At the start of the briefing, you can see it increase. But as you go along, it decrease. All right. This purple line represents introduction. So in the beginning, it only makes sense that they look a lot at it. Okay. But towards the end, it is no longer their interests. Their interests are on other questions that they didn't get it right. Okay. So this blue line is question number 3, I think. All right. And a lot of them are discussing about question number 3. So they still couldn't get it right. So we will have to go back and tell them what is wrong. Okay. So in a way, you can capture that by looking at the trend line, and how many of them are viewing what. All right. And you can put the hint there as you go along. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, online learning, the lecturers spend a lot of time monitoring the students. Yes, we have to continuously monitor them until they submit. It is not like the traditional way of teaching. We finish in class, and if the students don't ask you, then it's final. All right. But here, you can actually get to know the profile, their behavior from, although they don't tell you, but you can monitor them using the YouTube analytics. That's why you can put in your video in YouTube analytics, in YouTube, so that it can be analyzed. All right. So if you look at publications, all right, you can see the video length and audience engagement. Accordingly, if your video is longer than 10 minutes, your audience rate would drop to 10%. I think this is very true. All right. So if your video is less than 1 minute, then you will still at the end of 1 minute, you will retain. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you all have questions, please post it up. And if I'm going too fast or too slow, please let me know. Okay. And you can see this green line, the video length is less than 1 minute. So at the end of 1 minute, you can manage to retain 60% of the audience engagement. All right. And this is true because when you look at it, if your video length is 10 to 20 minutes, it drops to 30% of the audience engagement only. That means they will retain and see. So that's why most of my videos are less than 1 minute. And actually, after I take the video, I make it faster, 2 times faster, so that it moves faster and they don't find it so boring. Okay. So, but I have one introduction video that I told you earlier that it is about 9 minutes, 9.27 minutes. All right. So you can see from the YouTube analytics. All right. This section here, it drops the audience retention. It drops to about 50%. So I was wondering what happened. Did I do something wrong in the video, or do I need to change it, or take off certain part? So I post a survey and asked them, is the intro video too long? And most of them say no. Okay. Is the intro video too slow? They also say no. Okay. So it's not too long, it's not too slow, but the audience rate drops. Okay. So then how about the video quality? Does it get hang? No, it doesn't. The sound is clear, the quality is clear. All right. But I can see the retention. Sorry. Okay. I can see that the audience retention drops. So I think maybe it's just common that because it's too long, so their eye contact is not there, and they may be looking at other things. All right. So I did not manage to get the 100% audience retention. But I also query, do I need to change the video to become shorter, or should I make it faster? So from here, it doesn't seem like I need to do anything at all, but I just have to accept that if the video is long, then the retention is low. All right. So yeah, no choice. Okay. Then this is another video that you can see in YouTube analytics that show you the overview of it. All right. Okay. It will show you that the introduction here, the average percentage view is 76%. And then continuous section here, all right, you maintain at 66%, all right, which is considered good, all right, meaning to say that there is a increase, and usually this increase is where they can get their answers from the video. All right. So maybe they review back and they rewind back the video. So that's why the audience rate increased. So this is only 2 minutes and 34-second video. So the shorter it is, I think the easier. All right. And you can see the spike here. Normally the spike here, if you look back at the video, is where they get the answers. So what I can notice is the students will go back and discuss among their peers on certain part, and they can put this link in their WhatsApp or in their Telegram, and they will relook again, all right? Where the students get the video and where they watch it from, it is inside YouTube Analytics. So you know whether they are looking at the video using the desktop, the tablet, or the smartphone. All right. So it turns out that most of them are watching it using desktop because I think for video, the picture is bigger on the screen rather than those smartphone where it is smaller. And although in US, tablet are many used, but in Asia, most of them use the desktop compared to the tablet. So this is a bit different from overseas, the students, all right, how they assess their information. So student learning hours, like what I have discussed earlier, and I pose a question using the on question A, how long they use to search for answers. So less than 1 hour, 1 to 3 hours, 3 to 5, 5 to 10, or more than 10. So from here, you can see some of them use 5 to 10 hours, and there are some of them who are more than 10 hours. So majority, you can say is 1 to 5, but you also cannot ignore 5 to 10 because if we give the student the benefit of an adult, then we will take the longer hours because this one will not have problem if you put it longer. All right. So you can say that for the preparation hours, for them to search for answers, it took them about 5 to 10 hours or 3 to 10 hours. Then discussion time, I mean, this is quite straightforward, maybe 1 to 6 hours. All right. About 6 hours they used to discuss. And submission time and Google Form is quite easy. They don't get hang or anything, and they don't need to resubmit again, okay? Because you won't get cut off. So most of them, because there are 55 questions, it took them about more than 60 minutes to submit the form. So from here, for those who are interested to actually change the SLT, I think roughly you can gauge what are the time that you will give it to them, and bearing in mind that this is online ODL, they will take longer time to actually search for answers. All right. So if you ask the students, is this the first time they are using Google Form for assessment? No. All right. So most of them use it before, 60%. And does it always get hang? No. All right. 91% says no. And submitting was easy and fast. Okay. More 82% say it's easy and fast. So Google Form is quite reliable. It's easy for the lecturer to set the questions, and it's easy for the student to assess the questions. But all depends on what you want to use it for. All right. And the best part is it will be tabulated in Google Sheet, all right, which you can export it into Excel file. So if you know how to use Excel very well, this will be a very convenient way of extracting data, all right, from the student ID and from their group. So immediately you can sort them out in different groups, and then you can sort them out with student ID, and then you can paste it on the final exam sheets. All right. So any questions so far? Because if not, then I will go to Pbl Evaluations. You can post inside the chat box. All right. If no questions, then I shall continue with the Pbl Evaluations. All right. So the form, the one is on virtual learning, virtual lab, okay, and virtual assessment, the lab and assessment together. So the minute they finish the assessment, I can get their results and real-time monitoring, okay? And I can also do intervention during the real time, and I can also assess the students' behavior. So for Pbl Evaluations, that we use, it is quite simple. All right. The PBL question that we have is given online, and we have splitted the students to 6 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A to F, and each group have 28 to 30 students, 28 to 29 students. All right. And each group have one facilitator in charge of them. All right. And this facilitator in each group, all right, like group A, they are separated into 5 different groups. So each group have 5 or 6 students. All right. So in A group, you have A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. Okay. So for this evaluation, we have splitted the percentage. Facilitator will take 60% of the total marks. Okay. Teamwork, that means among the students in the same group, like A5, there are 5 or 6 students among them. How do they rate their own peer? All right, their own friends. That will be 20%. Then during the presentation day, you have peer evaluation. So the 5 person in group A1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, will evaluate A2, A3, A4, A5. All right. They don't need to do it in a group, individual. All right. Individual assessment or individual giving them, grading A2 and grading A3 and grading A4 and A5. So all this you can have it in Google Form, and it will be nicely tabulated in Google Sheet. I'm not sure I can go in. I will try, okay? All right. Like this one, your lecturer evaluation. So I have 6 lecturers there. So each lecturer, you have to tick, all right, your name. Okay. This one I put multi-choice. And which group are you evaluating? Like, okay, this is me. Okay. I'm evaluating A1. Okay. And what are the marks you give them? High proficiency and limited proficiency. Though this is the rubrics. So after I have graded them, all right, then I can submit. All right. Oh, okay. Required. So this is on lecturer evaluation. All right. So you can see here, it is quite convenient. Each lecturer will have the link to key in this. All right. So teamwork. So teamwork is within the team itself, because some of the students say, I contribute more and you contribute less. So in the end, it will be best that they evaluate back their team members. Okay. So this is a bit complicated because each team, all right, each group here, you have different names, but it can, surprisingly, Google Form can accommodate this. All right, let me click again. So this is teamwork. I need each and every member's name to be on the form. Okay, so this is teamwork, which contribute 20%. All right, so choose the person you are evaluating. They become very happy because all their friends are inside the form. So for us to put this in the form is very easy. You just have to copy all the names and you paste all together. You don't need to paste one by one. You drag it down, all the names will be inside the form already. All right. So let's say they are from group A and they are evaluating Alif. All right. And they will evaluate according to the rubrics and then they submit. So all these are easily tabulated inside the Google Sheet. So in other words, you don't need to go back and key in again from each and every lecturer, all right? The form that each lecturer have, how to say, graded, okay? So this one same goes to peer evaluation, all right? So all those in A5 will be evaluating A4, A5, A3, A2, A1 when they are presenting, all right? So yes, it is very user-friendly and it will be captured all inside Google Sheet. So you don't need to worry. We have not come, although we have 125 students, things as complicated as this, we managed to have it nicely tabulated in the table. Then each lecturer can extract the details from the Google Sheet. All right. So it is a very convenient way and it saves us a lot of time. Okay. So during evaluation there, you just have to put in the QR code or the web link. So for group A, they will scan for teamwork for each student, all right? Teamwork and presentation. This is the two things that they need to evaluate. For teamwork and for presentation evaluation. Okay? Group B, the same. Different group because teamwork here have different names. Every group have about 29 names. So no choice. It's easier for me to separate them, but you can try having one for teamwork for all the groups and having one for presentation evaluation. Definitely presentation evaluation is the same for all. Yes, okay? So D, E, F, okay? And lecturer only have one evaluation, okay? 60%. So all this is tabulated in Google Sheet, Google Form to Google Sheet. And you just have to pick from there. So that's the end of my sharing session with you. And if you have any question, you can either email to me or you can ask in chat now. All right. Let's look back at some of the questions if you have. Yeah, you can set condition. Okay.
It's me again. Just wonder, when you get all the data, how long do you actually spend to pull the data together for the three different, you have the teamwork, you have the presentation, and you have the data, marks from the lecturers. How long do you spend to actually do all that using Google Form?
You need at least 1 hour for
that's
one group.
One
Yes.
group, okay, one group. Okay, yep.
Because 60% from the lecturer, you have to sort them out again. Although I've given your group A, group B, group C, group D, right? And from group A, from the student ID, you have to sort them out again. And you have to, combine the marks again. All right? Because some of us put A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. All right? But in one form. But some of them choose to do A1 by itself, then A2 by itself, then A3 by itself. So because all of us have different, different choices. So it makes the combination, I have to sort again inside Excel. Okay. And then for students evaluation, the peer teamwork evaluation, there are 29 students. So that 29 students, you have to sort them out again. So this one takes about 1 hour for one group.
Oh,
So
wow.
the facilitators still have to do that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Still not too bad, I think. If you do it manually, isn't it?
Manually, you have to collect back the forms and then you have to key in one by one.
Exactly.
The time you wouldn't want to do so many different evaluations, 60%, 20%, 20% breakup. But I think when you have breakup like 20% and 20% for the students, 40%, they get excited. All right. Because a lot of them complain if they do teamwork, it's unfair. Some of them just sail along. They don't contribute at all. But by giving marks, you can stop that from happening. And from the questionnaire survey, they seem to like it. All right? Okay? So more important is their response tells us they like it. Although one or two don't like it, I would say normal lah. All right?
Normal.
So another
Okay.
20% when they evaluate back their team. In the same team, if say I'm from group A1, I evaluate A2, A3, A4, A5. So during the presentation time, they actually spend time listening to what is happening rather than they are doing their own things. So this give them, how you say, they are more confident of getting that 40% marks. This is what I think.
So will you be doing again? Do you think the students would be would want you to do it again? Is there any mention on that the next round?
I think the good thing about online learning is you can ask the questions what they like first. Okay, whether they like to have team evaluation and presentation evaluation, what they like, what they want is within their hands, these marks. All right. If they really don't like it, then we cancel it. Yeah. Rather than you have 100% lecturer evaluation. And
makes
online,
sense.
online allows you to get the answer immediately.
Exactly. Real time as well.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions for Dr. Choo on Google Form as an app for productivity, especially for online assessment?
I have very quiet students today. I think you joined my class before. Normally the students will have a lot of questions and you don't know whom to answer.
Maybe you will get more questions later on, I think.
Yeah,
Is there any more? Okay.
Yeah, you can email to me. No problem. Yeah.
Dr. Choo, sorry, because I just came late for the presentation because I just finished my class.
It's okay.
11:30, so I missed the biggest part, I think the earlier part. So can we get the recording for that? I think it's very useful. I mean, even though I'm in the middle of the session, I think it's very useful of us to use the Google Form for the assessment. So I just missed the earlier part. So is there any available recording after this?
Yes, it's okay. I think what we're going to do, we have so far we have 5 webinars. So we're going to upload all the recordings in our YouTube channel. You can check you can check later. And also don't forget for the last webinar on the 6th one, I'll be conducting that. Will be on Thursday at 2:30. Not 2:30. Yes. It will be good for anyone who's going to start on BL, blended learning, and also hybrid learning. So.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Okay, I think probably if there is no more question, of course you can email the Choo, and I think we can close the Choo.
Yeah.
This session. So thank you very much, the Choo. It's really enlightening webinar. I want to learn from you later.
I'm learning from everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, Muhammad 035. Okay. All right.
So
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. And see you in the last one.